is America.
There is no question that there are problems in this country between police and community.
Yes, you are a donkey.
The latest on that police killing of a black man.
Now to new developments in the deadly spa shooting rampage.
And yesterday was a really bad day for him, and this is what he did.
And so we are in a state of emergency.
Okay, white supremacist violence is and always has been the number one threat to our society.
But I'm also very proud that my wife is white.
The Breakfast Club, bitches.
All right, Charlamagne, please tell me, why was I your donkey of the day?
Donkey of the Day for Thursday, September 11th, goes to the gun lobbyists, the gun industry, and all the politicians who refuse to pass common sense gun reform in this country. Today is 9/11, the 24-year anniversary of 9/11, and over 2 decades later, America is still in a state of emergency. Okay, we are still having constant terrorist attacks, but the attacks are more frequently coming from within. Okay, it's like we keep repeating ourselves, and things seem to be getting progressively worse. For example, yesterday, 3 teenagers are in critical condition after a mass shooting at a Colorado high school. Now, I was born in 1978, so I'm old enough to remember the mass shooting that happened in Denver back in 2012 at the Aurora Theater. That's when James Holmes threw tear gas in the theater and started shooting in the audience. 12 people killed, 70 injured, 58 of them due to gunfire. You would think a situation like that would lead to some type of massive change in America, but no. I did some research, and by research, I Googled. And the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment website said in a 10-year period from 2014 to 2023, Colorado experienced 77 mass shootings in which 103 people were killed and 299 were injured. Guns. Okay, I was on massshootingtracker.com. Yes, that is an actual website, massshootingtracker.com. And in 2025, this year, it has been 356 mass shootings in America, 6,888 mass shootings since January 1st, 2013, and 0 days. I repeat, 0 since our last mass shooting. 0 days. Now, I am 2A all day. I believe in the right to bear arms, but I also believe in common sense gun control. But I thought to myself yesterday, the term gun control is an oxymoron. Okay, when you think of a gun, you have to know the gun industry, right? You got to think about the gun industry when you think of guns, and that's one of the most powerful industries in America. It's protected by the Constitution. The gun lobbyists, especially the NRA, they have significant influence over politicians, and guns are worshipped like religion in this country. So no matter what the tragedy, okay, no matter how much blood is spilled, no control will ever be placed on guns as long as those campaign contributions keep coming in. Okay, and when we use the word control, right? Gun control. Control is something this country will never have, okay? Gun control will never happen in this country, especially when lobbyists, the NRA, are writing the rules, okay? You put gun and control together, it sounds good on paper, but in reality, it's like saying organized chaos or honest politician. Okay, these politicians won't even be honest with you on why they can't even create legislation to ever get to a point where we have common sense gun reform, but it's never happening in America. People, no. It is a complete oxymoron to say gun control. Okay, gun control in America. Because America doesn't control guns. Guns control America. All right, we treat the Second Amendment like it's one of the 10 Commandments. Okay, in America, historically, guns have had more rights than women, immigrants, the LGBTQ, and black people combined. Okay, and the reason we need gun control is because people clearly have no self-control. I agree with anyone who says guns don't kill people. People with guns kill people. And since those people don't have any discipline or any self-control, that's why we need gun control. Okay, common sense gun reform that can protect us all. And every time there is a mass shooting or a tragic shooting, we should absolutely blame the gun lobbyists and the gun industry. I was reading a great article that was published last year. It was on a website called Everytown for Gun Safety. And the headline was how the gun lobbyists and the gun industry fan the flames of extremist ideology. And it spoke to how in recent years, political extremism and extremist violence in the United States have risen at an alarming rate. Okay, many extremists see guns as the most effective tools for their violent aims, and lax gun laws in the U.S. often enable these extremists to access firearms. We saw that play out yesterday when we witnessed the murder of right-wing political activist Charlie Kirk. Okay, he was shot and killed while speaking at Utah Valley University. Of course, immediately people start politicizing his death. The right is blaming the left, saying their rhetoric about the right is what led to this. The right is blaming the left, saying their rhetoric is what led to this. And we don't even have the person who did this in custody. We don't know what this person's issue is or was with Charlie Kirk. Everybody is just assuming this is political violence, and it quite possibly is. Matter of fact, I'm sure it is. But you know what else it is? Gun violence. Okay, these nut jobs who don't believe in freedom of speech clearly believe in their right to bear arms. And because of the lax gun laws in America, they are able to get firearms to carry out these violent acts. Now, let the record show, when I heard what happened to Charlie Kirk yesterday, I immediately felt fear. Okay, I was afraid. I'm a black man in America. I think about getting shot every day. But guess what? Every American should think about getting shot every day when you are out and about in a public place, simply because it's been 0 days since a mass shooting happened in this country. But my personal fear was also because I'm a media personality. I don't want to live in a country where media personalities are being shot and killed for their opinions or what they believe. But I also know that as much as we like to point to the First Amendment and say we all have freedom of speech, we are not free from the consequences of said speech. That's why mindfulness of what we say is very important, because there is a cost to everything that comes out of our mouth. And unfortunately, we don't get to set the price. And I must say, Charlie Kirk understood the price of our freedoms more than most. I was watching this clip of him go viral yesterday. Can we play it?
You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
Now, he's absolutely right. Because of the way the Constitution is structured, because we have no common sense gun laws in this country, these high gun deaths will happen every single year. It is a consequence of the right to bear arms. Just like we don't get to determine the consequences of our free speech, we also don't get to determine the consequences of everyone having the right to bear arms in this country. I just wonder, when people say things like Charlie Kirk said, play the clip again, Ray.
You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
I just wonder, when people say things like that, do they think they may be one of those deaths? Is it worth it when one of those casualties is you or someone you love? To protect the rights given to us by the Constitution, if they believe they too could be one of those deaths and they're cool with that, I respect it. So I guess you honor Charlie Kirk by buying more guns based on that logic? Yeah, but I don't know about y'all. That sounds kind of ridiculous to me. See, even if Charlie Kirk had a gun yesterday, it wouldn't have protected him. When somebody got the drop on you, they got you. Only thing that could have saved Charlie Kirk yesterday was keeping guns out of the hands of violent extremists like the person who killed him. And the only way to do that is with common sense gun reform. I believe we can find a way to protect our Second Amendment rights while also having some type of common sense gun reform that keeps the guns out of the nut jobs' hands who want to exercise their right to bear arms to kill those of us who want to exercise our freedom of speech. Please give the gun lobbyists, the gun industry, and politicians who refuse to create common sense gun reform the biggest hee-haw.
All right. Well, thank you for that donkey of the day.
That was tight.
Mm-hmm.
Donkey of the Day is sponsored by renowned personal injury attorney Michael the Bull Lamonsoff. Don't be a donkey when you need a fighter on your side. If you're ever injured, go to michaelthebull.com. That's michaelthebull.com. And when you mess with the bull, you get the horns. Hold up. Every day I wake up. Wake your ass up. The Breakfast Club.
Y'all finished or y'all done?